Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Who are you? When somebody butts into our conversation, or we find somebody in our house that we don't recognize, naturally we start thinking, who is this person? Or even if there's a new actor, a new singer, a new sports person, and they have game, we're thinking, who is this person? How much will we learn? We know their name, their age, their job, their family background, maybe their favorite color. What do we really learn about anyone? Even the ones we know, how well do we know them? Because there's another question that we haven't answered. Who am I? Bhajagovindam talks about Bhajagovindam talks about we can live our whole life wasting our time doing things that are not important. From the very first verse we have been seeing. So what is important? Finally, in this verse, Shankaracharya tells us, Kastvam kaha kuta ayataha. The most important question is, who am I? There is this email forward that went around, and you might have received it a few times, where you asked if you are like coffee, an egg, or a carrot. If you put all three into boiling water, they react quite differently. The carrot becomes soft and mushy, the egg becomes hard, the coffee spreads its flavor. And so then we are asked, when in troubled times, do we fall apart like the carrot? Do we become hard like the egg? Or do we thrive like coffee? This is not knowing who we are. This is not what the verse is talking about. The verse says, Ka te kanta kaste putra. Who is your wife? Who is your son? But really the question is, who are you without any of these relationships? All these relationships we have tend to help us define who we are, and we think of ourselves in relation to the other person. A caregiver as a parent, or a receiver of care when we are a child. But who are we without any other person in our life? From where have you come? The verse of Bhajagovindam asks. And we might say physically from our mother's womb. But who are we without this physical body? We're not just our physical appearances. We're not our mind and our emotional temperaments. We're not our psychological motives. We're not our degrees that we acquire, and we're not the memories that we collect. The rishis of the Upanishads urge us to go deeper. Pujya Gurudev used to narrate a beautiful story of a beggar on the streets who was found by the king's men. He was scared and he was confused. He didn't know what was happening. The king's men took him to the palace and scrubbed him clean, and then dressed him in beautiful robes and presented him to the court as the next heir to the throne. The beggar was so confused and so disorientated. His fear grew even more. He didn't want to be there. This is out of his comfort zone. But they wouldn't let him leave, and they continued to explain to him that the birthmark on his right shoulder was proof that he is the only living relative to the royal throne. Each day he was tutored on how to speak better, how to sit better, how to speak better. Each day he was tutored on how to manage affairs of the state, on how to take advice on different policy matters. After a few years, he was no longer a beggar. He was a prince, still learning the ropes, but had grown comfortable in the environment of the palace. He had learned the art of diplomacy and how to conduct himself in the court. He had become wise on the responsibilities that lay on his shoulder. and took counsel from the appropriate people. One day, as he was walking past a particular corridor, he noticed a cabinet which hadn't caught his attention in quite a while. When he opened it, memories came flooding in, for he saw the begging bowl that he used to carry around. He immediately remembered the cold nights that he spent on footpaths, the dirty clothes, and the need to have a bath. And he thought, could he ever do that again? So he arranged to wear those clothes once again and to have the palace guards drop him off in the city square. He carried around the begging bowl, went from shop to shop the way he used to. He was greeted with friendly faces in some places saying, "Haven't seen you for a while." He was greeted with scorn and dislike in other places, a sight he was very familiar with. As he went from shop to shop, as he collected coins, his mind was so peaceful and happy because he knew he wasn't a beggar. He was a prince, just experiencing this for a day. When we know who we are, we will stop begging other people for their attention. We too will know that we are a fountain of bliss, joy, love. Think about it. Who are you without all these superficial judgments that we have collected, these labels that we put on ourselves and others? We have to go beyond anything that objectifies us. Most of us don't even know the intricate workings of our body. The medical staff do, but most of us, our body is who we are, but we don't really understand it. So many of us don't understand our personality flaws. Even though the people around us are willing to share that information, we're not willing to see it. We don't know what our next desire is going to be. We don't even know the outside layers of our personality that well. And so, when we are urged to know ourselves, it's to go through each of these personality layers until we reach the very essence of who we are. This should be on everyone's bucket list. Think about it.
For more in-depth talks from Swamini Supriyananda and other excellent teachers of the Chinmaya mission, you can subscribe to ChinmayaClicks.com. That's ChinmayaClix.com. You can also visit the Chinmaya channel on YouTube for bite-sized inspiration and discourses on in-depth Vedantic texts. To know about local classes, activities, and upcoming retreats, visit www.chinmayamission.com. And see you on the next podcast.